Tommy had a bad habit. He liked garbage. And by that I mean he liked to get in the trash can. And the trash cans are not for getting into. It's stuff that nobody wants anymore. Well, one morning Tommy's mother fixed eggs, scrambled eggs for everybody at breakfast. And he had 3 or 4 brothers and sisters that went off to school, and his daddy went off to work, and all of the eggshells were down in the garbage. And his mother went upstairs to make the beds, and Tommy looked at the garbage and he thought, I wonder what it would feel like to crunch all those eggshells. So he stuck his hand down in, grabbed a bunch of eggshells, and crunched them, but they cut little bitty marks all over his hand. And he had little bitty places where he was bleeding, just a little bit. But he went upstairs to Mama and said, "Oh, Mama, look what I've done to my hands." And she said, "Well, Tommy, what were you doing?" "Well, I just wanted to crunch the eggshells. It looked like it would be fun." "Tommy, I've told you and told you to stay out of the garbage." "Oh, my goodness." And she got down the mercurochrome and she put it on all the little cuts. And then she said, "Now stay out of the garbage, son. It's not for you." Well, a couple days went by and Mama was cleaning out from underneath the kitchen sink. And she dropped a bottle of palm olive soap that only had a little bit of green stuff left in it. And she dropped a big jar that she'd canned with, and when she dropped it in, it broke. And she put some, a can of Comet, some other things in the garbage, and the phone rang, and she went up to answer the phone, and while she was gone, Tommy looked at the garbage, and he thought, now, why did she throw away that perfectly good green palm olive soap? I could make bubbles with that. And he reached down in to get it, and when he did, he cut his hand really bad on the broken jar. And it's bleeding and dripping on the floor, and he's hollering, "Mother, Mother!" And she hung up the phone and came running, and she said, "What have you done now, Tommy? Oh, my goodness, you cut." She wrapped a towel around it, and she said, "We'll have to take you to the doctor. He's going to have to take stitches and give you a tetanus shot." "Stitches and a tetanus shot!" Oh, he began to holler even louder. Well, when he got to the doctor's, the doctor and the nurse had to hold him down till he got the shot. Now, I know it hurts for a second, but it doesn't hurt us long enough for just keep hollering. Tommy just kept hollering. And they stitched it up and bandaged it, and the doctor said, "How in the world did he cut himself anyway, ma'am?" And she said, "Oh, he just won't stay out of the garbage." And he got into the garbage again. And there was a broken jar in there, and it cut his hand. And I just don't know what I'm going to do with him. He just won't stay out of the garbage. And the doctor said, "Tommy, that's not a very wise thing for you to do." And Tommy went home sniffing and snuffling and his hand hurting. And several days went by, and Mama decided to clean out the cupboard upstairs in the bathroom. And she was cleaning that out and dropping pills and old cough syrup and other things into the garbage. Then there was a knock on the door, and it was the postman, and he had come to deliver a package. And she went downstairs to take it. And Tommy looked in the garbage, and he thought, those yellow pills look like M&Ms. I bet they'd be good. And there's some brown ones that I bet would go nice with it. They were vitamin pills. And so he picked a whole bunch of them up and threw them in his mouth, chewed on them, and they tasted terrible. He spit them out in the sink, and he saw this bottle with about this much cough syrup in it, and he thought, that'll take the taste away. It smells like cherries, and he drank it down. And about that time, Mother walked into the bathroom, and she saw his tongue and his mouth. It's got yellow and brown and red on it, and she said, "Tommy, what have you been up to again?" And he said, "Wah!" And she said, "What did you swallow?" "I don't know. It tasted terrible." And so she took him to the doctor, and the doctor said, "Well, we're going to have to pump his stomach." Now, that's about as bad as it sounds. You take a long, skinny straw, and it's made out of rubber, and you have to keep swallowing it until it gets down in your stomach. And the doctor sucks on the other end of it, and then that brings everything that was in your stomach up. Well, when he was through, Tommy's throat was sore, and the doctor said, "Tommy, you got to stay out of the garbage can, son. That's not real smart." Well, Tommy went home sniffing and snuffling, and days went by, and one Saturday his daddy was home, and he was down in the basement, and he was cleaning out his tool chest. And Tommy was down there watching him. It was an exciting thing to watch. Daddy's tool chest had lots of interesting things in it. And Daddy threw away some rusty nails, and Daddy threw away a box cutter, and that was to take the paint off the windows when he painted, and he threw that away. And he picked up a hammer, and he felt it, and the head of the hammer was loose. And his daddy thought, that's a dangerous hammer. So he threw the hammer away. And about that time, Mama said, "Okay, boys, tuna fish sandwiches, lunch is ready." And Daddy said, "Come on, Tommy, let's go eat." And he went upstairs. But Tommy stayed behind and looked at the trash. And he thought, I bet it would be a lot of fun to pick up one of those nails and take that hammer and hammer it into Daddy's workbench. That would be good. So he picked up a rusty nail and he put it on the workbench and he picked up the hammer, and just as he went pow with it, the head of the hammer fell off and hit his toe. Oh, he said, oh, it hurt so bad. And it was bad because there was blood underneath the toenail, and his daddy and mother came running and they said, oh my goodness, we'll have to take you to the doctor again. And off they went to the doctor, and when they got to the doctor said, well, we'll have to take a needle. Now listen, kids, there's no feeling in your nail. That's why you can file them and cut them. It doesn't hurt to do that, does it? So when I say this, don't think this hurt Tommy. It didn't. He just hollered a lot. The doctor took a needle and he stuck it in his nail so that all the blood could come out. Otherwise, his toe was going to hurt for weeks. And so when he was doing that, the nurses had to hold down Tommy, and Tommy screaming bloody murder. And when it was all through, the doctor said to the mother, I have a cure for Tommy getting in the garbage. Would you like me to give it to him? Oh, doctor, please, if you have a cure, give it to him. Are you sure? Absolutely. It would be wonderful. I've told him and told him and told him, and he simply doesn't ever listen. And he said, well, come here, Tommy. Tommy came over very slowly, still sniffing, and he said, lean over my knees, Tommy. Tommy thought that was a little odd thing. He was afraid the doctor was going to give him a shot. But he leaned over the knees, and the doctor spanked him till he cried. And he said, now, Tommy, God's word says foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction will drive it far from him. Your getting in the garbage can is just pure foolishness. Now, the next time you think you want to get in the garbage, I want you to remember how bad the back of your stomach hurts, where I applied the rod of correction, and then stay out of the garbage. Well, Tommy went home, and a week or so went by, and one day his mother was cleaning up in the family room, and she threw away a bunch of magazines. And Tommy went over to the garbage after she'd thrown them away, and he looked and he thought, that's got pretty pictures in it. I bet you I could cut out some pictures and make a poster. Why did my mother throw away those lovely magazines? And he started to reach into the garbage and get the magazines. And all of a sudden, he felt something on the back of his stomach. And he remembered how bad it had hurt when the doctor spanked him. And Tommy didn't get the magazines out, and he didn't get in the garbage anymore. Now, if Mama has said no once, and you do it the next time, what she really needs to do is to apply God's cure for foolishness.